Guys, in this video, I'll be discussing the setups that I use on the 1 minute time frame to enter my trades quickly so I can get the most benefit out of my trades. You're gonna want to stay until the end of this video. Let's get it, guys. Let's dive right into it. What's up, y'all? It's Mark from Mark White Trades, and I'm back with another video. And it's been a little minute. It's been a little minute since I've been back recording, but I just kind of took some time away to go do some studying and just get better at this game that I want to bring to you guys. All right, so quick update: I recently joined a mentorship program. Shout out to ProfitX. It's an amazing program that I've joined. Now, I want to say that this program is specifically geared towards trading stocks. However, a lot of the setups that I'm learning there, I want to bring back to trading futures, because I mean, at the end of the day, patterns are patterns, and I've been testing out this pattern with futures, with the MES micro e-mini futures contracts, and I see where it's worked well, and I want to bring that idea to you here. Now, I do want to say that nothing I say in this video is to be taken as financial advice in any way. I'm just a man sharing the things that I'm learning with the hope that, you find it entertaining, to be honest. However, any strategy shown here, before you try to employ that with your trading, make sure that you do the same thing that I'm doing with the strategy. Test it out in the demo or in our simulation trading, and just see how it works until you're confident enough in it to employ that to your live account or your prop account, whatever the case may be. Cool. So without further ado, I want to jump over into the charts. I don't want to talk too long. I want to jump over into the charts, and I want to just show you guys two of the setups that I've been learning, namely the quantum leap and the micro pullback. These are two of the setups that I've been learning. They're easy money setups because they show themselves a lot in the market. And if you learn to execute them, like I'm trying to learn to execute them, then you can pull some profits out of the market. So I want to jump over into the charts. I'm already in a setup that I just want to show you guys real quick of the quantum leap, and then later on we'll go into the micro pullback and what that looks like. I'm going to talk about what the setup looks like, my entry criteria, my stop loss, and how I manage the trade. Cool. So let's jump over into the charts. Let's get the video going. So I'm here on the MES micro e-mini futures contract, and I have my quantum leap already cooking up right here. Today is the 19th of June, Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth to everyone out there. And yeah, we're just gonna see. We're trading today is the 19th, but what we're looking at right now is yesterday, which is June 18th, and we're looking at how the setup showed itself into the market. Now, I want to talk quickly about what the quantum leap looks like. Right, a lot of the times it manifests itself on the open, right, where we have either a strong upward movement or we have a strong downward movement. And the quantum leap does work from on the sell side, so it's something that you can employ on the sell side as well. However, I'm mainly focusing on the upside. I'm looking at bullish price movement and how that can fall into my narrative and my bias, and with the setup, with certain other little details that I'll talk about. All right, so here the market opened at 9:30, and then we had a slight drop. Right now, one of the reasons that I'm confident in this move going higher is because we have a demand zone right here on the 5-minute chart. Right, right now we're down on the 1-minute chart, but if you go here, we can see that we had in the pre-market we had a nice demand zone formed right here. So even though price opened bearish, it reacted to this zone, which tells us that there's a probability that price wants to go higher. Okay, so really quick before I go over back to the 1-minute chart, I want to talk about my supply zone, right? And if you've watched my video on my 5-minute supply and demand strategy, you know that when I come to the market, I try to find 5-minute supply and demand, and I want to trade zone to zone. Now, I did say that I'm optimizing the strategy, and this is a way that I want to feed into that narrative, that in an attempt to optimize the strategy, I want to get better entries, right, using my micro pullback or my quantum leap. Cool. So even though we're using our supply and demand setup, right, trade zone to zone, we then brought the entry, which is the setup quantum leap and micro pullback, into it. which just further helps us being able to capitalize and get in the market at the right time and get the most out of the move. All right, so I have a 5-minute supply right here. I have a 5-minute demand right here. I do know that the 5-minute supply is strong because I have a 15-minute supply right here. I probably won't go into that and show how we got that, but the 15-minute demand is there, and we have a 30-minute demand. Sorry, let me back step a little bit. Let me step back a little bit. This is a 15-minute supply, right? And this is a 30-minute demand. Cool. And between that, we found nice strong 5-minute supply and demand. Cool. So let's go back down to the 1 minute, and the setup right here, it feeds into the narrative. We want to go from zone to zone. We had a push down off the open, right? Got a push down off the open, and then we kind of recovered, had a strong engulfing pattern right here. Our engulfing candle, not pattern, a strong engulfing candle, right? And then we now have price reacting to my demand zone. One of the things with the quantum leap setup, right, which is what I feel is cooking up right here, is that you want price to make a move, whether up or down, consolidate for about 5 to 6 minutes. We're on the 1 minute time frame, so each kind of represent 1 minute. So the price consolidates for about 5, 6, or 7 minutes sideways, right? And with the supply or demand zone confirming the level, that it's a strong level, then I feel confident enough that the price wants to make a move in the direction that it's already started. Cool. So here we have move up, right? We had a little bit of base in right here, a little bit of rest point. We tried to move further up, but we were met with the VWAP, which is another level for me that I try to trade off. And we have the 9 EMA right here, which I'll tell you further how we use that to manage the trade. Now, prices, VWAP, and the 9 EMA, that tells me that some type of accumulation is going on. There's potentially a big buyer right here. This price level is a level that they like, and they're just accumulating whatever shares that was there. Cool. Now we're looking for another move higher, and the next candle should tell us a better story. Okay, boom. We took out the VWAP, and now we're now on top of the 9 EMA. That is confirmation for me. And I really don't like to use the word confirmation because that tells you that you're kind of sure about what's happening, and you're never sure what's happening in the market. You're just trying to understand the narrative, understand the bias, and try to move in accordance to the bias, all right? Or your bias. So right here we have price closing above the VWAP and the 9 EMA, right? It also took out these previous highs right here, and the volume bar confirms that we have stronger volume right there. CVD, the cumulative volume delta, kind of gave you that confirmation as well with this strong volume right here, which is now going past these levels. All right, so for me, that's confirmation, not confirmation, but that tells me that there's a higher probability that price will go higher. So I am going to go in with about 4 contracts, and I'm gonna buy. Now, with the supply and demand strategy that we talked about before in my previous video on my 5-minute supply and demand, you typically want to set your stop loss right here. But as I'm employing my quantum leap setup, what we want to do is use the most recent lows right there as our stop loss, right? Recent swing lows. And then the first thing I want to do is get a 1-to-1 trade, right? I want to make sure that I am taking some profits as the trade plays out, so I don't end up at a loss. Cool. Any profits is a profit for me. Now, how I manage these is a skill that I'm also working on developing a little bit better. But I am essentially looking for a 1-to-3 trade, but I am going to take some profits off at a 1-to-1. I'm risking 75. Once price get to 75, right, or a 1-to-1, I am going to take a few contracts off and then watch to see what happens. Cool beans. Now, 1-to-1 right there. Let's go to the 150 level. That's 1-to-2. Cool. So we're going to go over there and we're going to mark that area out as well. Now, moving on from that, we are going to our take profit to 125, which would be a 1-to-3. Cool beans. Now let's see how this trade plays out and see how we can best manage the trade. Now I started with 4 contracts. What I'm probably gonna do, take one off at the 1-to-1 so we can secure some profits, move my stop loss to break even, and then I'll let the other contracts run its course. As a matter of fact, let's buy one more. You know what, scratch that. Let's just work with what we got. All right, so price started moving in the direction that we said there's a probability that it will. All right, boom. Now price got to 1-to-1. What should I do right here? The first thing I'll do when price get to the 1-to-1 is I will move my stop loss to break even, and I'm going to sell one contract. Boom. So that way I secure some type of a profit. So no matter what happens to the trade now, I've secured some profits. If it comes back down and I didn't sell and it goes to break even, if I only move to break even and the price comes back down and I didn't sell any contract, then I would have nothing. Cool. So I just sold one contract to make sure that, yes, I'm getting something out of this trade. And then it's all about management now. Cool beans. So our first level was taken out, which is a 1-to-1. Let's see what happens after that. All right, price still moving good. Price still moving good. Boom. Now we're at a 1-to-2. What do you want to do when price gets to your 1-to-2 level? Well, the first thing I want to do is I want to move my stop loss up to my 1-to-1 level, right? Now that price is at a 1-to-2. Cool. Then the next thing I want to do is I want to take something more off the table so I don't leave empty-handed. I'm going to sell 2 more contracts. Now right away I've secured $100 at my 1-to-2. Now it's not the full 225 that I was expecting, but I've secured some profits out of this move. I've moved my stop loss up to my 1-to-1 position, and then I'll just let the trade play out to see if my take profit is achieved. Okay, so we had one bearish candle come in that kind of came in with some strong buying right there. But if you've noticed, price opened, tried to go higher, then came back down and closed here. Again, I've already secured $100, so I'm not worried about this. I'm not moving my stop loss. I'm just going to stay right there. I secured profits, not worried about it. Cool. Next candle. Boom. Just like that, we're able to get about $157 out of this trade, right, with my last 2 contracts that was on the board. But if you've noticed, right, the supply and demand zone were basically, they were used, they were respected, they were used. However, I employed my quantum leap strategy, right? My quantum leap strategy. Like I said, with the strategy, you want price to make a move up, consolidates for about 5 to 6 or maybe 7 minutes, and then take out the VWAP or the 9 EMA. Now, does this pattern shows itself at different levels that's not at VWAP? Probably yes. However, that's when we use the 9 EMA. Cool. To kind of determine whether or not I can get in this trade, right? If I'm at a good level, it's respecting that level. We're crossing over the 9 EMA. We've taken out the 2 are the most recent highs. Then that's a entry criteria for me. I can get in this trade, make some money on this trade. Cool. Now we've taken out, we got out of the trade, and we're now at another interesting level for me, which is the mid-range of the previous day's range. Cool. This is a supply area right here. This is the mid-range, and we're within a zone. Now, if this zone get invalidated and it's now on top of the midday range or the mid-range of the previous day, that might be a trade I might be interested in taking if I have good, price action, and then it depends on how price react to this zone. Now, this is a lower probability trade because we're at the mid-range. I really don't like to trade at the mid-range, but there is some profits to be taken if we have the right price movement. Cool. And especially if we have another setup that reveals itself, then that might be something I'm interested in. Being that it's a low probability trade, then you don't want to go with as much risk, right? You want to risk a lot less to see what we can get out of the market. So let's play the market forward and let's see what happens. All right, price continued to go higher. Then we had that reaction at the mid-range, right? We have a pullback, right? This looks to me as some sort of a pullback, right? And this was quantum leap, right? Now with the micro pullback, that's where you have 1 to 5 candles of pullback, before another leg higher. Let's see if this might be brewing. This might be something that's brewing. Okay, so we had a stronger pullback. We're now below. Oh, wow. Okay. All right, so I'm not going to take this trade because I don't want to, regardless of whatever I'm saying being financial advice or not, people will look at this and people will go, well, maybe I can attempt that because look at the setup X, Y, and Z. However, I'm not going to take this trade. It looks like a nice micro pullback setup, but I'm not going to take it because it's at the mid-range and there's also a supply zone here. So price could easily bounce off this and come lower, right? Which I'd be interested in if this zone gets visited and comes back to this zone to make another leg higher. If it doesn't, it is what it is. I've secured 150 for the day. I'm a new trader, less than a year in, so I'm not really perturbed. Oh, wow. Okay, so let's see if it actually plays out, then I'll explain. Okay, so what happened there is that price took out this level, right? The mid-range, it took it out. Now it's inside this 5-minute supply, which now can be used as demand depending on what happens off this 9 EMA right here. And now that we've exited the zone, this might be something that I could be interested in. Now it's a cleaner micro pullback, and I'll explain why I say it's a very clean micro pullback, and it's on top of what would now be support, not resistance, sorry about that, right? It's on top of what would now be resistance. So with the micro pullback, you want to look for a move higher, right? A move higher that's over the 9 EMA. We want to see about 2 to 3, maybe 4 candles of a pullback, right? And this is very clean, very clean, very clean. Now, I am not gonna, you know what? I am gonna enter it and I'll just see how it plays out. We had 2 nice candles right there, or 3 for a pullback. Now, this candle right here is a doji and is very critical with your micro pullback setup. With your micro pullback setup, once you have price going higher, then you have price pulling back and you see a doji form. It could be green, it could be red. It's a doji and it's sitting on top of your 9 EMA. That's a signal to me that says, okay, it's a trade that I might be interested in. Now, again, it's at that level, right? That mid-range level from the previous day's range, right? So I'm going to put less risk on it. I'm probably going to go in with about 2 contracts, and I'll show you where I'm going to put my stop loss. So let's see, right? So we're buying 2 contracts. I'm going to go real tight to right underneath my doji because, again, there's certain things that makes this a lower probability trade, but I'm just going to take it anyway for the video's purposes. And I'm going to go in with like a 1 to 3, right? 20. So 1 to 3 would be about $60. All right. Just to the end of my 30-minute, my 15-minute supply. All right. Let's see what happens. Right away, we're way over a 1-to-1 because we only went in with $20 risk, right? So in managing this trade, what I would do, because I've already gotten a 1-to-1, again, I like to take my 1-to-1s. I don't want to sit and wait forever. I'm not greedy. I'm just here to make some money, take my cash home. Cool. So right here, I would first bring my stop loss to break even to ensure that I'm not losing anything on this trade. And if you notice right here, stop loss is right under the previous candle. So what I would do here is I would just sell 1 contract. I would sell 1 contract. Boom. Secured a little bit of bag. Secured a little bag, right? Then what I would do is I can either keep my take profit or I can move it and, you know, manage the trade a little bit more. So I'm going to move it to like a 1 to 6 from where I started, right? Boom. I went from 60. I moved it another 30 points. So let's see how this trade works out, right? And I'm going to manage this trade very closely. Boom. Price came back down. Right? So it's very important that I already took some off because I already secured a little bit of money, right? Now let's see what happens next. Boom, out of the trade. And I'm very happy that this trade didn't go my way for this video. And the reason for that is I want to show you that one of the reasons this trade didn't play out is strictly where the trade occurred or where the pattern revealed itself, right? Like I said, the midday range, stay out of the midday range. Don't fiddle in the middle. Now, even though the price action and the setup was nice, right? Again, we're at the midday, so it's a very dangerous thing to do. No, I manage the trade really closely, right? Just based on my criterias. And once I get a one-to-one, I take a bit off, take some profit, put some money in my pocket, and I leave something on just to see what happens, right? I'm already in the money, move to break even, take one contract off, and just watch to see how it plays out. It's a very dangerous game to play, but it's a game that you can play nonetheless if you're really quick, right? So one of the things that you may want to do with your platform is just program hotkeys, right? Program your hotkeys. I don't know that there's a lot of platforms that allow you to use hotkeys to go to break even really quick, or there might be. You just might have to just work on your own platform to see what that looks like. I probably need to do some more investigation on Thinkorswim or Tradovate, which is what I use to trade futures, and just see if I can go auto break even, whatever the case may be, because that would mean that I'm securing the bag. If I even get a one-to-one, I'm securing a little bit of money, putting a little bit in my pocket and say, okay, let's see what happens. Cool. Now, I'm going to just play the market forward to see what happens. Look at that. Look at that. Move continued to go higher, but who cares? We got $173 in my pocket. So let me jump off over here. So real quick, I'm just sharing things that I've learned since joining this mentorship program, the setups that I've learned, the way that I've learned to kind of manage my trades. And so not only sticking with, oh, it's a supply or demand zone and I trade when price breaks out and comes back down. With these setups, what I'm learning to now do is be able to capitalize on both moves. When price breaks out from an initial zone, I can capitalize on that if my setup is present. Cool. If my setup is not present and price just runs straight through it, I'm leaving it alone. Cool. I'm leaving it alone. But if my setup is present, I can capitalize on the move higher. And then if price reacts to, for instance, if price breaks out of a demand zone and my setup is there, I'm taking it. Right? I'm not waiting for it to go to one zone to revisit another zone. I'm just taking it. Cool. Now, if price reacts at the other zone, how I expected or anticipate, that it will react, and my setup shows itself again on the sell side, then that's for me is an opportunity, right? And I'm taking that opportunity. I'm not waiting. I have a supply, I have a demand. I go from demand to supply. If I see my setup on the sell side, I'm taking it. Managing the trade becomes more important. So if you're new to trading, try to develop your trade management, right? After you found maybe a setup or two that you can go to the market and you can try to execute these setups. Focus on thereafter on your management of your trade. One of the things that you could do is program your platform with hotkeys and features like auto break even. Once you get a one-to-one, you can program the platform to bring you to break even. We call it a trailing stop, and I think Tradovate, which is where I trade futures, have that. I just have to figure out how to program that. I'm not too sure about, but I'm pretty sure that it's there. So I'll go and do some investigation, and what I find, I'll bring it back to you guys, man, because I'm all about sharing things that I've learned, bringing it to you in an entertaining way. It's not to be taken as financial advice. It's not to be taken as gospel. Don't do anything in these financial markets without testing a strategy over and over and over again 1,000 times. You've tested it, you've done the math on it, you took the statistics or the analytics, and you realize, okay, so this strategy is good. It has a 50% win rate, it has a 40%, whatever the case may be. If you have a percentage win rate that you like, and you can identify these moves or these setups and you can execute them effectively and quickly, which is where hotkeys comes in. That's another video I'll talk about. But if you can execute and manage your trades, you can make money in these markets, right? So get a plan, right? Follow your plan. Make rules for entry, rules for exit. If these rules, don't break any of these rules and criterias that you set for yourself to enter and exit a trade. If you don't have them, you don't have them, don't trade. Doesn't matter what the chart looks like. Doesn't matter what opportunity you think that you're missing. These patterns show themselves in the chart probably multiple times a day on multiple different assets or multiple times a week. So just get really good at executing, so you can capitalize. Like the trade that I just ran over in this video, that might present itself another day, and I take that, right? I might take that with bigger size depending on, the levels. Levels are important. If you don't really take trades if you're not at key levels. Cool. Randomness, it's never good to trade randomness because you always want to be on the right side. But if you're gonna be on the wrong side, manage your trades meticulously, man. And take all your money. Don't leave too much on the market. Make sure that you get to the market, you take a little bit and you put it in your pocket and you watch what else happens, right? If a trade goes against you, you got a little bit in your pocket, man. You got more than you came there with. Be grateful, be thankful. But anyway, I'm ranting right now, so I'm going to shut this video down. If you did like the video, you like the setups, or you like anything, you just like the way I say things, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow for more content like this, man. And also join me in the comment section. If you're at the beginning stage of your trading and you're working on anything that I discussed in these videos and you just want to talk about it and share and express, we're here. It's a safe space. We want to have conversations among ourselves as developing traders, and we want to help each other grow. So again, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, follow for more videos, and meet me back here on the next one. In my next video, I want to go over how I'm using the level 2 and the time and sales to kind of see if these moves that I showed you in these charts, if they were going to work out, and how strong these moves were, or getting an indication of how these moves are going to play out. So join me for that video. Really fun stuff. Thank you for being here. If you've gotten to this point, thank you. Like, subscribe, comment. Let's get to it. Let's get to the money.